Workfront, an enterprise project management solution. We helped them increase their EMEA revenue by 88%. They were predominantly focused on the US markets and they were known fairly well within those markets. However, when it came to the UK and EMEA, they were less well known. They had some presence, but they knew that their marketing activity needed to be enhanced. Most of that activity was running from the US at the time that we then engaged with them. The market at the time was full of project management solutions, from large to small, from very in-depth and detailed capabilities through to very simple apps that you could perhaps just download on your phone and use to do your shopping. So their biggest challenge was that they were spending a huge amount of their budget, time and effort on poor quality leads clogging up the system. Most of the inquiries they were getting were small SMEs or one-man bands, which were not the right target audience for them. They wanted to be targeting enterprise businesses within certain sectors and industries. They had a very small marketing team that was spread across EMEA, and most of the campaigns that they were running was being run from the head office in the US. But they knew that they needed some help with that because it wasn't working. So they approached us. Step one, what were they trying to achieve? Now, they had some very specific targets, which is actually quite nice to have because you know what you're working towards. They wanted to increase EMEA growth by 28%. They wanted to increase the number of enterprise business inquiries that they were getting. And they wanted to drive down cost per acquisition. Alongside all of this, their team was really important. And they wanted to empower their marketing teams so they could continue to accelerate anything that we were putting in place. Step two, we assessed the status and identified the key barriers that were preventing them from this growth. We did our usual roll up our sleeves and dive right in, analyzing, questioning, understanding, researching. They were trying to market in Europe how they were marketing in the US, and it just wasn't resonating with the audiences. They were targeting everyone, not being specific as to who it was that they could actually help. And hence, they were getting all kinds of leads, and a lot of those were poor quality. They were relatively unknown as a brand in the UK and EMEA, and therefore, even if people needed them, they weren't necessarily aware that they existed. And their reporting was lacking. So in regards to showing why the leads were poor quality and how to improve things, there wasn't exactly a clear overview of what that actually looked like. Step three, how can we fix these problems? So we started off by assessing who they were actually trying to reach and who they were currently reaching. This identified some key flaws in the messaging, not only on the website, but in the marketing campaigns and in general across the business. This was the biggest priority that needed fixing. So we planned out what they were saying as a brand. We adjusted to make sure that we were talking to the right people in the right markets at the right time and conveying what we could actually do for those businesses. Meanwhile, we stripped away any wastage so that now we knew who we were trying to engage with and we knew what kind of activity we were seeing. We could refine that, improve that, save some budget so that we could reinvest that budget into making it work more efficiently and get more exposure. So we started to optimize all their different campaigns that they were running, really enhancing it. And this had a huge improvement on cost per acquisition. Then once the messaging, targeting and alignment was all good, we could start to ramp up the awareness. There was no point doing this sooner because they would just be spending more money with the wrong types of messaging to the wrong people. So we've kind of made things more efficient, and now we'd scaled it down a little bit and made it more effective. We could now start to get the volume to come through. A detailed reporting system was set up so that we could see everything that was going on. We could see all the improvements, all the tests that we were running, and really analyze what was working and what wasn't. And this was a big piece that was missing before we came on board. We had regular meetings to review messaging and tests that we were running, get more input from the client as to their business, get insights that we wouldn't have known as an outsider. And we really started to work together actively as a complete team. The results, our strategy focused not just on increasing visits to the website, but on building quality pipeline and developing a scalable model that could increase year on year. Within 12 months, we had delivered some standout performance. 48% increase in qualified enterprise leads. Now that was great because previously they were getting a lot of nonsense coming in, and we'd managed to eradicate a lot of that. Not all of it, you're never going to get rid of everything, but we'd really managed to pin down the right audiences that we were talking to, and we were starting to get some good results. This had a huge impact on the marketing pipeline. So we had an uplift of 112% year over year, and EMEA revenue grew by 88%. The cost per acquisition, which was one of the top goals that they wanted to work on, we managed to reduce by 37%. With the lead quality increasing, that's a pretty successful result. For more details on how we did this, check out the case study on our website. And if you're interested in finding out more or whether we could help your business, then get in touch.